Hello, hello. 30 seconds, I'll be on. Hi! Hello everyone. Thank you for watching the stream, watching the video afterwards. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody's had a good week. Looking forward to the next week. Hope everybody had a great solstice. Hope the energy is not too intense for everyone. I know that it can be intense for a lot of people. I think the solstice was kind of an intense point. I think for everyone, I know it felt very intense for me last week in a lot of ways in my life. So yeah, I hope everyone is doing well. Anyways, to get started, my name is Mark, Mystical Mark. Welcome again. So this week we're going to go over the astrology for June 25th until July 1st of 2023. If you're watching this after the stream, timestamps should be in the description below. You can see all the chapters and everything listed there. And if you want to connect with me on other social media platforms or anything like that, all those links are also in the description below. All right. With that being said, I just kind of want to dive right into it this week and get really started, just because I don't want to waste too much time. All right, so let me just pull up the chart here and let us get into it. Okay, just a moment, we'll make sure we're switching. All right, we're good. Okay, so we're going to start off with the 25th. All right, so on this Sunday, got a few things peaking today. So let's just gonna go down the list here. We got an interesting minor transit here. So we have Juno in quintile to Chiron. So there's could be something coming through either from a higher dimensional realm or from behind the scenes regarding our partnerships and our wounds to our individual self. So there could be an aspect, I almost wanted to say of healing. But with Juno here in Cancer, there's going to be very much a emotional aspect to our partnerships. And again, with Juno, this is like committed partnerships or like contractual partnerships. So we're talking like business relationships, marriages, long-term relationships, any kind of long-term partnership, anything in that realm. And in Cancer here, we're dealing it from an emotional realm. Very nurturing realm. Remember, Cancer is ruled by the moon, so this is definitely in a subconscious and emotional space. And with it quintile to Chiron here in Aries, this is our wound to our individual self, our individuality, to our own independence, right? And so this aspect is dealing with this could be behind the scenes type of stuff coming through regarding the emotional aspect of those partnerships that may have caused us pain or wounding in our own individuality, restricting our independence, aspects of our independence, of our self, of the expression of self, of our own assertiveness. There could assertiveness or even like type of anger energy could have taken a role in that wounding. Especially since Juno here in Cancer, there's an emotional aspect to that. So anger as an emotion could be an aspect of that. But again, this aspect is coming through in behind the scenes. So it's coming through either from a higher dimensional space or from a work that's been going on behind the scenes in a sense, whether it's higher dimensional or behind the scenes in like a physical reality, kind of somewhat unseen coming through. Possibly with Chiron here, it's possible to put in the work to kind of heal this space or to heal these partnerships, heal this, balance it out in some way. But something will be coming through and that would be kind of felt as this energy kind of peaks here on Sunday. Another thing we have going on today is the Sun will be a semi-square to Black Moon Lilith, which is in Leo. So again, Black Moon Lilith is kind of like our inner feminine rebel, right? So she was the one, as the story goes, she was outcast from the Garden of Eden. She was the Eve before Eve, right? Lilith before Eve. She was cast out for questioning the man, questioning authority, wanting her own independence, wanting equality between masculine and feminine, right? So she's kind of that rebellious energy, but it's in the sign of Leo, so we're coming at this from more of a heart space. So it's this rebellion energy from more of a heart space, from understanding it from our heart, from realizing that maybe we need to be more loving and understanding and accepting, of who we really are, and including of our dark side, of that rebellious side. Maybe wants to come out and say, hey, this is what's been happening to me. I don't appreciate this. I don't like this. And Leo is also about self-love as well, right? With this semi-square over to the sun, which is also conjunct Juno, this could have an aspect of partnership or emotional aspect between partnerships, but definitely from our emotional space, we could be feeling maybe a bit more emotional rebellious. From our heart space, we could be feeling that in a sense. We could be wanting to, this could deal with an aspect with this semi-square here, pushing towards more of this unconditional love space of our true self, then understand that, it's okay to have, where am I trying to go with this rebellious tendency here? It's okay to kind of have that, maybe that rebellious part of you, or to understand that it's okay to express and be yourself. Right? And there's a knowing here with Black Moon Lilith as well, of things that have gone on, secrets that have gone on. It's like the secrets and you're just like, no, I'm not putting up with that bullshit anymore. I want to do this. And in Leo too, that could be bringing it to center stage, bringing it to light with the semi-square to the sun. And that's emotionally bringing it to light, right? And it could be also regarding partnerships, some kind of business partnership, romantic partnership, marriage partnership, contractual partnerships, anything regarding that could be coming to light. Also, interestingly, on this day, we have Juno aspecting the nodes. So Juno here in Cancer, trining the South Node in Scorpio, and sextiling the North Node in Taurus. So remember, Cancer and Taurus are both very nurturing signs. With the North Node here, we're nurturing our path forward. So Cancer is emotionally nurturing, Taurus is physically nurturing. So, and Taurus also represents like aspects of abundance as well. Money, abundance, career, material things, that kind of thing. So with Juno here, there could be an aspect of our partnerships that maybe we need to bring to the surface to be let go of, with a South Node here in Scorpio. And that provides an opportunity to nurture ourselves and move forward in a more abundant, more feminine, nurturing space, and in more of like an emotional heart space as well in moving forward. But there's certain aspects of these partnerships that may need to be recognized, brought to the surface, and released in order to actually move forward in that direction. So we're kind of seeing there's kind of a big aspect of partnership that is playing up, whether that's, like I said, business contractual partnerships, relationship partnerships, marriages, those kinds of things that are coming up. Also on this day, we're going to have Mercury in square to Neptune. So there may be an aspect of confusion. There could be an aspect as well of secrets. Remember, Pisces and Neptune, this is like behind the scenes type energy, right? It rules the aspect of spirituality, what is unseen, right? So this is behind the scenes stuff, and then square to Mercury in Gemini. Mercury is like communication, thought. There could be intuitive things that come to mind regarding certain situations. This could be a communication of sensitivities as well. Pisces is an extremely sensitive sign. There could be creative solutions that are communicated and coming through. As well, again, like I said, communication of, secrets, of becoming things behind the scenes becoming known or communicated in some kind of way. Right, it's interesting this is happening at 27 degrees, which is also a Gemini degree. There's definitely an aspect of communication or a knowing, some kind of communication, whether it's verbal, written, whatever, or a knowing or an intuitive maybe knowing of some kind coming through. Pay attention to your dreams as well. There could be intuition coming through that in some way. And yeah, with all this Juno stuff happening, could be relating to that partnership energy as well. All right, so that's all I've kind of got there for Sunday. Let's move on to Monday. So for Monday, we're going to have the first quarter moon. What's going on here? I guess I'm kind of too far ahead. But basically, we're kind of the moon in Libra squaring to the sun in Cancer. So moon in Libra squaring to Cancer, it's about emotional balance, right? Libra likes balance, it's justice, it's the aesthetic, it's beauty, right? This is emotional beauty, emotional balance. Cancer likes to feel comfortable, right? This could be bringing justice as well. There could be an aspect of justice here. This is at 5 degrees, so sun will be at 5 degrees. I don't know if this is happening at 4 or 5. You can just see the exact degree. So yeah, it is actually going to be happening. Let me just go back here. I want to know the exact degree. Okay, so it's probably going to be happening at 4 degrees. So that is actually a Cancer degree. Yeah, so it looks like it happens 1:50 a.m., so right after midnight. So yeah, we're going to be kicking it at like 4 degrees there. Yep, sure, okay. Yeah, so it's going to be happening around 4 degrees. So that's a Cancer degree. So again, we're in this emotional space. So trying to find an aspect of emotional balance, emotional justice, right? Where we've been hurt, maybe in our sensitive and feminine and emotional space. And remember, the sun here is in conjunction with Juno, so that aspect of those partnerships, of those relationships, could be moving over as well into this Monday, right? Also on this day, Mercury, still in hours, Mercury will be moving into Cancer. Let's try to move ahead. Come on. There we go. Okay, looks like in the evening on Monday there, Mercury then moves into Cancer. So we're going to be out of Gemini into Cancer. So Mercury in Cancer is less quick-paced. Mercury in Gemini is very quick. Things wants to happen fast, very communicative. In Cancer, it's kind of more of like, I just want to stay in bed. Or communicating more of your emotional space, right? Communicating more of what's going to make you feel comfortable. It's more nurturing communication. It's more from an emotional space, from a heart space, from that caring mother type energy, right? So, and it could be very much focused on our emotional space through the mind, like I said, through communication and in that sense. So kind of pay attention to that there. Also on this day, we're going to have, right, did I talk about all I want to talk about with that quarter moon? Yeah, so with the quarter moon, we're going to be finding, like I said, emotional balance. There could be an aspect of emotional justice coming through kind of in that sense as well. I think that's all I kind of really want to say on that. It's the first square that's kind of pushing for some kind of balance, emotional balance, nurturing balance in some kind of way. Gives us we're realizing some kind of action or to take, or some kind of action will be taken as we head into the full moon release here with the full moon in Capricorn. The following in about a week-ish. All right, which is actually kind of interesting. But anyway, we'll get to that when it happens. All right, so Mars is also on this day in an exact square to Uranus. All right, so Uranus and Taurus here squaring to Mars and Leo. So this could be action being taken out of nowhere through some kind of possible like inspiration in some way, action happening out of nowhere. This is regarding like with this Uranus and Taurus, possibly money, career, maybe relationships, material things. You're taking action from, or it's almost like inspired creative action or just maybe impulsive action based on some kind of passion or desire towards something coming from your heart space, right? So this is moving into more of a heart space, possibly regarding where we want to move forward, where we want to radically shift in terms of our material things, money, career, relationships, and actually beginning to take action on that. Of course, remember, it's peaking on this day. But of course, this has been building throughout this time. So throughout this past week, there may have been certain things that maybe you've realized or whatever. So there may be spontaneous actions being taken to the realm of self-love, unconditional love, as well as, and that's relating to aspects of career, relationships, and material things, money, those types of themes. Mars also on this day is in a biquintile to Neptune. So there's something coming through behind the scenes that could be, could be causing us to take this action from this heart space through the love of self, through unconditional love, for standing up for unconditional love, right? Those kinds of things. Leo is very heart-centered, right? And Neptune, so there could be an aspect maybe coming through in our dreams that maybe causes us to take action through our intuition. Like I said, there's something coming through, or secrets behind the scenes, something behind the scenes. This is kind of double behind the scenes energy with this biquintile, as well as the Pisces energy that's taking action in some way, but it's positive action. It's from the heart. It's coming from the heart space, or coming from a more leadership-centered space that is taking place and coming through in some way. All right. Okay, so it looks like on Monday we're going to be we want more emotional balance and more of maybe spontaneity from a heart space, and moving forward in a new, possibly abundant direction, or at least taking action in that direction as well. But again, that's been building already throughout the past week and everything so far. Okay, all right, that's all I've got for Monday. Let's move on to Tuesday. Okay, so on Tuesday here, we now have Mercury now aspecting the nodes. So Mercury here, sextile the north node and trine the south node. So, and especially Mercury is still conjunct Juno. Juno still aspecting this. The sun here, there's going to be some kind of communication regarding some kind of partnership. Again, this is business partnership, marriage partnership, contractual kind of partnerships, those kinds of things. Could be some kind of divine partnership, divine marriage, some kind of partnership, long-term relationship type aspect. There's going to be a communication here, so it's going to be, could possibly be emotional, possibly be sensitive. But it's something that's coming up from the past, or something that that needs to be transformed, that is from the past, that needs to be transformed, let go of, in order for the opportunity to move forward in a more abundant space, right? And again, with the North Node here in Taurus, this can deal with money, career, again, relationships type stuff. With Scorpio here in the South Node, we're looking to transform, bring things to the surface, release. This could be investments. So this could actually be, because this could be some kind of communication regarding, I almost want to say contractual investment in some way, but it's being transformed. South Node is here. It's something of it's being left in the past. Not necessarily it could be something from the past coming up to the surface, but also kind of almost being left in the past in a way as well. Because there's this sextile here, this opportunity to move forward into this new space, especially with the sun here building in sextile to Jupiter as well. There's an expansion in this direction. So all this energy is kind of playing into each other. Again, this is coming through from Sunday now. We're already in Tuesday, but this energy is still, it's playing out in this space. Looks like through the beginning of this week. So there's some kind of emotional communication happening that's going to release us, or at least help to move us in a new direction, or bring things up to the surface to try to be released for the opportunity to move forward into this new space. I definitely feel like it's a letting go, like it's something from the past that's got to be left in the past. And something to do with relationships, partnerships, contracts, something along those lines. Really interesting. And again, the energy peaks on this day, but it's building throughout the week, right? So we may see hints of this even from this week where I'm streaming this or recording this and heading into, before this even happens on this day, right? Yeah, that kind of looks like to be the main thing that's happening. Let's kind of take a look that the moon is trining this space. As it's heading into Scorpio. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, so we have the subconscious moon of justice here, trining this space as well. There could be a communication regarding some kind of justice and imbalance that comes resolved. Again, moon is subconscious energy. As we're moving into Scorpio, there could be something that's going to be released here and communicated regarding these partnerships and relationships that has been sitting subconsciously emotionally. And there's something... Again, moon in Scorpio, it's like that moon card in tarot where you got those, have you ever seen the card? It's like the creepy crawly creatures on the bottom of the card and the full moon up there. And the moon is like revealing all of those, the darkness, the creepy crawly things may exist within our subconscious or otherwise. But this is a trine, so this is a positive thing. So we may see stuff coming up to the surface or being communicated in some way and being transformed, let go of, because we're moving into this, they're expanding into this new abundant space and direction. Wow. Especially with Mars in aspect to Uranus here, there could possibly be some out of nowhere shifts and actions being taken place. Take that phrase for what you will. Maybe things that have taken space are not going to be taking space anymore. But there's definitely going to be some heart-centered action in shaking things up monetarily, career-wise, relationship-wise, and moving into a new direction. Wow. For those of you that don't know, when I do this, I look over the transits, but I don't fully go into the charts and stuff until I'm actually on here. So you're seeing me go through this actually live. Okay, hence, live stream. Right? Wonderful topic, right? A wonderful thing. But it actually really is me doing this live. And also because I don't have a lot of time during the week to go through all of this. So, yeah. Alright, so wow, interesting. Let's move on to Wednesday. So yeah, we're going to have the moon come into Scorpio, so it's going to hit that south node where it's going to be trining Juno, trining all this energy here, and basically in opposition to that north node in Taurus, going to oppose Jupiter. Jupiter opposition the moon in Scorpio at 8 degrees, which is the Scorpio degree. Something's coming up. And remember, this Taurus Scorpio is the money axis as well. This could be regarding some kind of investment, monetary investment, money, but Jupiter is here in Taurus, so it's expanding this abundantness, it's expanding in a new direction somehow. There's some kind of subconscious, there's some kind of emotional release in some way. Taurus, and to Jupiter expands whatever it touches. This opposition seeks to find balance. So there's some kind of release that needs to happen here in order to expand in this new direction. That's some kind of subconscious emotional release or something. There's some kind of balance that needs to take place here emotionally and materially. And it involves some kind of release. Jupiter is the planet of abundance, and so I think something positive will end up coming out of this. Wow, that's really interesting. We also have Venus here, conjunct Black Moon Lilith on this day. Look, if you're an asshole or have been treating people like shit, this might be you being called out, finally. Or at the very least, people realizing emotionally, there could be some kind of emotional communication in some way that is happening. And it's also coming from this heart space. I mean, look, Venus here, which is like in trine now to Chiron, on top of Black Moon Lilith in Leo. And oh my god. And remember, Venus is in shadow right now. She's gonna go retrograde. Let's just see when Venus, so direction changes. Venus goes retrograde to July 22nd. If I click on this, is it gonna bring me the chart? Yeah, it will. So when Venus goes retrograde, it's gonna be at 28 degrees of Leo. So we're pretty close, and we're in that shadow space. I have to move forward. What date am I? Sorry, guys. Okay. So, yeah, so... with Venus retrograde, whatever is unloving or does not honor our self-identity is going to fall away. Right? So... especially with this trine to kind. Whatever comes up during the shadow period is going to be represented again during the retrograde. Right? So what's unloving needs to fall away. And sometimes the shadow periods before retrogrades are sometimes the more intense, right? Because retrogrades are it's going over. So something could happen and then you're just going to go over it again to try to understand and figure out a new direction and where to go. Or, yeah, like... Venus building in square to Uranus, there's some kind of change regarding career, relationship, partnerships that's going to allow a more heart space, authentic type energy and a more abundant type of space. This is trining Chiron and Aries. This is our wound of anger, our wound of self, our wound of individuality. Yeah, it's going to be regarding some kind of, again, like I said, relationships, career, money. Something is happening in that space. Something is shifting or starting to come into our awareness of shifting this week in some way. That something really needs to change. The sun also on this day is in semi-square to Uranus. So whether there's something emotional that's causing that, remember, Taurus and Cancer, they get along. But this is kind of like, this is not an exact degree. This is a semi-square. So these energy can work together, but it's pushing towards some kind of resolution. Something's coming up to be resolved in some way, and it's going to be some shift that could happen out of nowhere. Some radical change, and it could be some kind of emotional release, emotional expression. There's some kind of there could be some kind of feminine nurturing energy that's pushing for some kind of change and difference. Mercury is also going to be conjunct Juno exact on this day. With Mercury also in semi-square to Black Moon Lilith also on this day. Something is being, especially with Black Moon Lilith conjunct Venus, something is being communicated emotionally. Something's not heart-centered anymore. We're realizing something has been realized and we're not putting up with it. Remember, Taurus energy is actually quite stubborn. With Uranus here, it's wanting to shake things up, change, radical change. There's something here that we're not putting up with. Taurus and Leo, they want the best of the best. Like Leo is like, I'm the fucking king or the queen here. I want to rule from my heart space, lead from my heart, do what's best for the people. And Taurus is like, I want the best. I want to feel the best. I want the best abundance, the best things, the money, the cars, the everything. Right? But there's something going on here in conflict. There's some kind of shift. There's a push to some kind of radical change in regards to our money, career, something regarding that. Something's not feeling right. We're not feeling good. We're not feeling in our heart. So we're in this Cancer space. It's feeling about feeling, and it's being communicated in some way. There's some kind of communication that's going to come up here. The moon is going to trine this space in Scorpio. The south node is trine, like we're aspecting the nodes here still. Also on this day, the sun is going to trine Saturn. Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces, this is the dissolving of structures. Saturn retrograde, the dissolving of structures, but Saturn going over old ground, going over this old space. Saturn, these aspects of control, power, control, bosses, career stuff, goals. What has not been working? It's going to be revealed. The secrets of those things, top-down control, aspects of control, restriction, all of that. Pisces deals with secrets, behind-the-scenes stuff. Going to be revealed. This is a trine. There's an emotional stuff going on here. Mercury is conjunct the sun. Juno here. There's something about partnerships, contractual stuff. Could be regarding to business, career, that kind of stuff. That's going to be communicated somehow in some way. That's coming up. But this trine is a good thing. And again, Mercury is semi-square to Venus in Leo. There's a frustration here of wanting to be in this heart space. Venus in Leo wants to be the center of the relationships, the center of the heart, the center of attention, but from a positive. Leo is a sign of leadership, but from your heart, from a positive space in regards to your partnership, relationship, careers, that kind of stuff. And to move more into this abundant space of Taurus, of wanting the best of the best, you gotta ditch the shit. There's stuff is gonna come up this week that's gonna be emotional communication. Emotions are going to be the center stage, and there's going to be something that's going to be revealed. There's a mother type energy here with this Cancer energy that just isn't really going to put up with stuff anymore. And what truly, subconsciously, emotionally is going on, it needs to be revealed and released in some way. Have radical shifts in these new relationships and connections and moving forward into this new direction. Holy fuck, I did not expect any of this to come up when I doing this week stuff today. Wow. Okay, so that's Wednesday. Happy hump day. Okay, so we're going to move on now to Thursday. All right. Thursday, of course, we're going to have the exact peak of Sun trine Chiron. So again, I touched on this on Wednesday, so if you're just clicking through the chapters, go listen to Wednesday. And I'll talk more in depth about that. But again, this has to deal with aspects of our partnerships, relationships, career. Venus is in Leo, wanting to lead from the heart space, come from that heart space, that unconditional love for the self and for others, right? And it's in trine to this Chiron. So in Aries, this is our wounds to self. This could be, I want to say like anger wounds. There's some kind of wounding that has happened, possibly due to anger, due to, harsh things. That's very like Mars warrior type energy, but also just wounds to our individuality and of ourself, and trying to Venus here, and we're trying to combat that from coming from a place of unconditional love. And this is a trine, but this is a fire trine, so could be very passionate energy regarding this. And yeah, Venus is still in semi-square to Mercury here, conjunct Juno, so there could be an aspect of emotional communication coming through regarding these partnerships. Yeah. Also, Venus on this day is going to be in quintile to the south node. That's going to be peaking. So again, something is coming through behind the scenes. Either something's being worked on behind the scenes. We may feel like we're working on something behind the scenes, or something's coming through behind the scenes in order to help us bring to the surface, transform and release into maybe a new space. This is going to be quite healing, possibly. We're either pushing towards some type of transformation in regards to our relationships, career, money, to come from this more heart space, or something is coming through to help us in that, or something is happening behind the scenes that is going to be pushing through that for us, or coming through somehow in that way, right? And Juno here is also in semi-square to Black Moon Lilith. So we could see emotional frustrations come up regard to our partnerships and where we want to rebel in that. If it's not a loving partnership, if it's not leading from the heart, if it's not from that unconditional space, we may feel the need to rebel. Remember, this Black Moon Lilith is that divine feminine rebel energy, and we're dealing with Juno and Cancer here, which is that divine feminine mother type energy regarding our partnerships and relationships. If we ain't feeling it, we ain't doing it. And this semi-square can be quite frustrating in that regard. And with that, there's something we may start to work on something, or have already started to work on something behind the scenes to transmute and to release the shit that's no longer working for us. Or something is coming through that has been working on behind the scenes, either spiritually, dimensionally, or behind the scenes in our reality in some way. Somebody's working on something that you don't know about that could be coming through in some way to help in this sense. Wow. Okay, I'm surprised this week. Okay, so anyway, that's Thursday. Let's take a look. Let's move on to Friday. So on this day, on Friday, we're going to have Mercury come into trine to Saturn, and also what am I saying here? Totally lost my train of thought. Also, Neptune retrograde. Right, so Neptune is going retrograde on this day, and will be until December 6th. Alright, so it's interesting now we have all these retrogrades. So especially with Pluto here in Capricorn still in sextile to this Neptune retrograde, we've got Saturn retrograde now in Pisces, things are going to be uncovered. So we've got Mercury trine Saturn, so there's going to be some kind of, it could be positive, so there could be aspects of positive communication regarding things that are hidden due to aspects of control. But again, this is like emotional stuff though. I almost feel like there's some kind of commitment or something that could be being dissolved through this Saturn and Pisces here. But it's a positive dissolve, positive resolution, and it's being communicated in some way. Because remember, we still got Juno here, Sun here. Saturn may be at 7 degrees, which is a Libra degree, that this is going to be peaking at. So there could be some kind of communication regarding justice, and it comes from an emotional space. And then we move into 8 degrees. The Sun is at 8 degrees, which is a Scorpio degree. There's some kind of release and transformation going on here. And what I was going to say about Neptune being retrograde now, we're going over this old ground. So all this Pisces stuff, it's all retrograde. So the secrets and the dreams and these things that have been building behind the scenes, they're going to start to we're going over old ground. They may begin to be revealed more. We're going back over that space to kind of go over it again, see it for what it is, right? And we're still in sextile, though this Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn. I mentioned on last week's video again, Pluto and Capricorn, we're seeing these aspects of control for truly what they really are. Right? Pluto brings up the power of the sign that it's in, but this is a retrograde. We're going over old space. We're clearly seeing what these aspects of control truly mean now. We're seeing things at face value. We're seeing it for what it really is. And that's how that transformation is going to happen. That's how those new foundations get built. We see it for what it is so we can transform it into something new. And now that Neptune is retrograde, we're even more so going over this old space. We're even more so seeing these things that really truly have been hidden and that are going to come up. Now with Mercury in trine here, traditionally you could say there could be an aspect of positive restriction that is coming out of this regards to our communication. So there may be that aspect coming through regarding it. We may feel hindered to communicate how we feel. We may feel sensitive in terms of our communication, or communication that may come down through some type of corporate structure or governmental structure in some way. There may be sensitivity surrounding that, or communicated surrounding that. But this could also be just things coming out regarding that and being sensitive towards that as well. Or things that are possibly being revealed in some kind of emotional sense, communicated emotionally in some way, that have existed, behind the scenes, and that what we've been sensitive to or how we've been hurt. Pisces is also like mental health energy as well. Could be an aspect to that coming through as well. There could be more communication regarding water, that type of energy. Interesting, Saturn in Pisces with that submarine that we found out now is imploded. Saturn restricts, right? And it's in the deep water sign is Pisces. So in deep water, you have that restriction energy, but it's also, Saturn is that structure that is restrictive, but it's also being dissolved in Pisces, being destroyed in that way. So be careful. And Saturn's also in traditional, like Hellenistic astrology, is like the Grim Reaper. So be careful in water. Water really probably isn't the safe space right now with Saturn, as Saturn transits Pisces. You're going to have to check and double check, and if you're going out in the water in any way at all whatsoever, do your best to be safe, because the Grim Reaper here is out to get you. So just be careful with that. All right, what else we have? Went over Neptune retrograde, Mercury trine Saturn. The Sun is actually going to be conjunct Mercury, so we're going to have Mercury combust here. So there may be an aspect as Mercury comes into Cazimi where communication becomes intense and could be possibly restricted or putting in the work somehow in some way. So if you work at a place that requires a lot of communication, there could be a lot of like corporate communication or something that comes through. But this is a trine, so this is happening in a positive way. Because again, this is existing with the 7 degrees here with justice and 8 degrees with transformation. So there's something that could be brought up during this or brought to light, especially with the Sun in Cancer. Outside of that Cazimi point, Mercury conjunct the Sun can be combust, so it could feel like Mercury kind of loses all its power because it's being overpowered by the Sun. So communication could be a detriment that day, especially with the Saturn here, where you may feel like very heavy communication coming through. With Saturn, there could be a heaviness to it, a very sensitive heaviness coming through to it this week that we may have to work through, especially with 8 degrees, that's Scorpio, that could be dealing with shadow energy, darkness, stuff coming through behind the scenes. There could very much be a heaviness to this day. And then at that Cazimi point, looks like what happened later in the evening, you're going to kind of see intense clarity to that communication and emotional clarity to that as it kind of comes through, right, to be transformed in some way. So it's going to be a really, really kind of interesting day, an interesting week, really, for all this stuff coming through. All right, so we're going to move on to the last day. Let's move on to Saturday. So interesting, Mercury is moving into sextile to Jupiter, so there could be an aspect of could be a really big communication coming through on Friday, just to kind of touch on that energy, and it's moving through as this peaks into Saturday. There could be some aspect of big communication coming through regarding career, relationships, abundance, money, that kind of stuff, and it's being communicated from an emotional space. Cancer is also that mother energy, that family. Could be expansion of some kind of aspect of family communication, maybe from parents or something coming through positive through this Saturn here, regarding maybe some kind of sensitivities. But again, this could be through structures, aspects of structure, control, those kinds of things coming through as well. But there's an opportunity to really expand and have a positive expansion regarding communicating maybe how we feel. There are emotional sensitivities and secrets that maybe are being released through, that we've had through aspects of control, restriction, bosses, those kinds of things that are coming through to the surface in some kind of way. Interesting, that's at 9 degrees with the Sagittarius and Jupiter degree. Right, so there's a positivity that's coming out of it, but it's very expanded communication type energy. It's bigger than what we kind of realize that it might be. Mercury is also in semi-square to Mars. So there is a passion here. There's a leadership passion, unconditional love type passion that's forcing some kind of communication in this sense too, right? Wow. And Mars is still aspecting Uranus. Something is coming through this week. There's some aspect of emotional, heart-centered, heart space. It's coming from an unconditional love type space, but there's some kind of emotional communication coming through from that heart type space. The Sun is also in sextile to Jupiter, so both Sun and Mercury. So there's that emphasis there. Again, I talked about, that conjunction Kazemi, Mercury being combust yesterday. So if you're just clicking through the days this week, look at Friday and what I said about it. And wow, yeah. Sun is also semi-square, so Sun and Mercury are both semi-square to Mars as well. So there's this passion of moving, taking action from this heart space, and really communicating from that space and communicating emotionally from that space, right? Especially regarding, maybe even where we've been hurt. We've had these aspects to Chiron and stuff going through. Venus is still in trine to Chiron, still in conjunction with Mars. Something's going on this week regarding that kind of stuff. So yeah. All right, well, that is Saturday. Let's bring it back to myself here. Make sure it's going to come through. Hello, there we go. Okay, yeah, so that is Saturday, guys. That is the astrology for this week. It looks like it's going to be an interesting week. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this, maybe even after the fact, or, whatever, let me know how your week is going. Refer back to this during the week. Let me know in the comments how the week is going. And if you like this video, you know what to do. If you didn't like it, you also know what to do. Yeah. If you want more on me, want to check my socials, anything like that, everything is in the description below. All the timestamps again in the description below. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching this video, either on stream or afterwards. Hope you do have a great week. Hang in there. Appreciate you all, and take care always. Thank you. Love you guys. Take care. Have a great week.